Eunice, guess what? I wrote all the scores down correctly this week.
I don't want to know.
And
I don't want to know.
Benson's on a roll here, you know. It's two weeks in a row that the victory has come to the purple side of the room. We put Eunice blue today because he's a bit upset that he lost, so I thought we'll put him in his favourite team, Everton, Chelsea's colours, for this Premier League prediction reaction. Because we've done it again, boys.
I prefer not to speak.
Eunice prefers not to speak, but we will here today speak about everything. We do this every week on ShootOut. If you're not yet subscribed to this channel, make sure you do so, because we have a Premier League review show and a prediction show. And to be quite honest, I love doing both of these because it gives us a chance to speculate, and then it also gives us chance and time to reflect. Indeed. And reflecting on our Friday night is a good idea to start with, because we had Leeds 2, West Ham 1.
Yes.
Yep, we both predicted a Leeds win here, and Leeds duly delivered in the first 15 minutes.
Very true, and it was going so well, in terms of my prediction anyway. I have to clarify this, and then he nicked it in the end. So, West Ham, thanks for nothing.
As always, West Ham,
always.
Thanks for nothing.
As always. But I'm happy for Leeds, I have to be honest, from a neutral perspective. Take the blue-tinted glasses off, and because I know we don't like Leeds, right? But I'm actually genuinely, I think they deserve now to have this win and maybe go on a little bit of a run, because they have been playing well. And in this game, they actually showed up with a lot of grit. We watched this game and we could see just how much they were really putting themselves out there. And I think up until maybe about minute 80, they were on top of the entire game. And then I think maybe psychologically they started to think, you know what, let's just try and defend this lead. We've done our job. We don't need to focus on trying to score more now. And they did invite the pressure, which you could argue is possibly their strength, or one of their strengths, but they did concede in the end, and it did get a little bit, shaky. The one thing with Leeds that I think we have to establish is Calvert-Lewin, who
had a bit
seems
of a stinker,
to be he seems to be a little bit of a weakness in this Leeds team.
Yeah.
Leeds have, I think, everything in their defence and their midfield, but when they get to the final third, I don't think they're actually putting the chances, or they're not even creating enough chances for them to be able to capitalise. And when it does fall in the laps of someone like Calvert-Lewin, he's just not doing enough.
I mean, he played 87 minutes and had one shot in the full 90, and this is against the West Ham team who are conceding chance after chance. Nuno's put them with a back three now, which I think over time might be able to get them a few more points. But, all of the promoted teams won this weekend. All three. We're going to go through all of those games, but Leeds, good result, and they're pulling away from the likes of West Ham, who are still the W's, ironically, because they've had a lot of L's, propping up the Premier League table. Wolves and West Ham right down there in the thick of it, in the relegation zone.
And Leeds, I think it was many people's picks for possibly going back into the relegation zone and heading. Well, they're into 15th now at the end of this weekend. They were in 13th at one point after they won. They're out of there. They're looking good. This is why I'm looking at Leeds and going, you know what, now with the way that they're playing, they should really be going on a little bit of a run and winning a couple of games here and there.
Yeah.
West Ham, though, West Ham might need a little bit more time. They just look like they're struggling.
If we actually pull up the Premier League table now, you can see Leeds United could potentially, they won't be because there'll be other results that happen in between, but that win for Leeds means they're one win away potentially from the top half of the table. So it just goes to show how tight and close the Premier League is right now. But let's glaze upon Chelsea-Sunderland. And I mentioned this to you last night on the stream. I'd rather focus on Sunderland here, because we're going to do another Chelsea-related video, I think, potentially for ShootOut, where Eunice and I discuss what's going on together, or what happened, whether it's what's going on, or basically just like, let's just lay the ground down, shall we, in that video.
Yeah.
But Sunderland, man, honestly, played 9, won 5, drawn 2, lost 2, left it late, and it's a beautiful finish. It's a crazy, wacky goal for Chelsea to concede. But Sunderland came with a game plan, and they executed it perfectly. I looked at that team and I thought, well, this is obviously going to be difficult. 5 at the back. They've got some players in there that are renowned for being slightly dark arts kind of players. Reynildo, the soggy Ronaldo, as we call him. Reynildo, see what we did there? But Sunderland just keep on doing it. And when I say it, I mean just grinding out results, sticking in matches. I kept seeing the manager was doing this, squeeze the whole game, and they're executing the plan week after week. And they're 5 points off of Arsenal, mate.
They're 4th.
They're fourth in the league.
Mate,
Well done.
Sunderland are... No, I mean, look, this is the state of the Premier League at the moment. Is
Even Tottenham are
chaos.
third.
It's chaos. There's Arsenal, Bournemouth. What's going on? You know, Tottenham, Sunderland, that's the top four.
Mental.
Then United are right there behind City, and Liverpool are like completely gone. Like this is just...
I'm looking at this. You got Liverpool 7th, who've lost 4 in a row. You got Villa 8th now, who have won 4 in a row. Like, what's... Honestly, week after week, we don't know what's happening here, do we?
And it's going to continue that way. This is why everyone needs to just observe. Just observe and just wait. Because right now, I think up until Christmas, it's just pure carnage.
And then it will start to take shape.
When I was saying at the start of the season, it's going to take about 7 games or so for things to take shape, I was wrong.
You were wrong.
Very wrong.
But what is that?
It's gonna take until Christmas right now. Like the way that it's just gone completely left for everybody except Arsenal. This is going to be a case where by Christmas we might have an idea. Not 7 games. No, I was wrong on that. No way is it that, because we're in 9 now, and this is the table. Like, so who knows what Bournemouth and Sunderland are actually going to do now? Or are they going to fall off like people expect? Are they not? You know, Liverpool into 7th now. Are they going to fall off even more? They're going to get themselves back in the title race, which is very, very unlikely at this point now. But this is how crazy it is. In the space of a couple of weeks, everything's flipped 180, and it can flip 180 again. So
This is good copium right now as to why Chelsea will be back in the mixer very soon. I hope. We've got Tottenham at the weekend.
Yeah. Let's see.
But yeah, to glaze over it for a second, I think. Like, Chelsea were poor in every stretch of the imagination. Probably the worst I think we've played. I'd argue, I think that's worse to do that at home. Man United, you got to take context into things, right? Mm-hmm. Sanchez was sent off early. Maresca then bottled it, and we asked to be rubbish. Whereas for the 90 minutes, we're 11v11. There's no excuse. It's not like we're a man down. Yes, Sunderland were difficult to break down, but we just didn't show up at all. Like, at all. It was the hardest match review I've ever made because I didn't know what else to say other than just poor, slow, rubbish.
Yeah, and I think we'll go into more detail on this on the Chelsea video that we're going to do, right? Because I feel like there's a lot of people looking at the wrong thing. And that's, we can't break down low block teams. We can't score. No, we can. At least to an extent. We can.
Just stop.
And I'll back it up on that video because there's one clear indicator to show that attacking isn't our problem. At the back, though, we're a calamity. Like, it's a disaster.
Yeah.
And that's what let us down in the end. We did fall off as the game just went on. We were just going down and down, just declining. Overall, the energy, the tempo, everything just stopped.
Yeah.
But defensively, we were just red carpet, go and score, lads. Like, that's just... And Sunderland, to be fair to them, Sunderland... Yes,
I'm laughing now. I wasn't all weekend.
mate, Sunderland, to be fair, as a shape and what they came to do, achieved what they came to do.
Yeah.
I think we assisted them in allowing them to get what they wanted from this game. But they also capitalised with what is our weakness in this team, and that's ourselves in defence. Defensively, we're a shambles. And towards the end of the game, they took charge of that. They showed the tempo and the energy and the burst that we should have been showing, and then they got themselves the winner. So fair play to them. They came, they done a job, they ran away with it, and they deserve it.
And I stand by my statement that I think Granit Xhaka will go down as maybe the signing of the season, with all things considered, come the end of it.
Pound for pound, yes.
Yes.
Pound for pound,
Yes.
without a doubt.
Yeah, unless Ekitike goes on a little 30-goal run in the next 29 matches.
It's unlikely, though.
I think I'm still going to give that one to Granit Xhaka. But let's go from one North East side's 2-1 win to another. Newcastle 2, Fulham 1. Bruno Guimaraes, 90th minute, scrappy game, scrappy win. But I'll say this, great week for Newcastle because at the moment I feel like it's kind of like they're a bit hungover, right? They've got Alexander Isak, beautiful footballer, scored them loads of goals, won them their first trophy, and then boom, he's gone. He's not there anymore. How do we put this puzzle together? How do we create something from this season? And how do we cope with the fact that maybe this squad isn't ready to compete in both the Champions League and the Premier League? Not because Newcastle don't have the money, but because they're not allowed to spend it all. So with that being said, Newcastle are now up to 12th. And again, I say the same as what I said about Leeds. They're on 11 points. Newcastle are on 12. They're one win away from the top 6, 7, 8. So is it really that bad? 3 wins, 3 draws, 3 defeats?
This is the thing. This is why it's so chaotic right now. in the space of 1-2 weeks, everything can completely flip again. You know, so Newcastle included. Now, this was technically a 6-pointer when you look at it, between Newcastle and Fulham and where they were, and now Newcastle have taken that gap to them. They've sent Fulham a little bit further down. But yeah, scrappy win, but you expect Newcastle to now build up some wins because they do technically have the team to do so. I'm surprised Big Nick didn't score.
Mate, I really like him, you know. There's a lot of players in the Premier League right now that I'm kind of like looking at and I'm like, outside of Chelsea, I like you.
Yeah.
I like you. And Big Nick is one of those guys. I'm just like, he's just a techie player. He just does bring excitement. In terms of the game, though, like this was a weird one because Newcastle started on fire and then ended the game on fire. And then the middle of the match was just boring. I watched extended highlights of this game and I'm like, this is not a high quality game of Premier League football. It's really not.
That's very Newcastle, though, isn't it?
Just getting the job done.
Yeah,
3 points at this point.
They're a very gritty side.
Yeah.
And they shouldn't be. Like, I look at Newcastle and go, you should be able to handle a certain caliber of players, of teams, in this league and just coast. But it's like they make life harder for themselves compared to what actually should be. But in games like this, they still get the result. And I mean, at the end of the day, that's the most important thing. But and Newcastle, I think, are in a moment where they have to build up some confidence and they have to build up some momentum, which they haven't been doing. So this is one of those games where fair play, you got the win in the end. And it's look, regardless of who it's against, when you get a goal in the 93rd minute, it's always a great feeling. So Bruno Guimaraes, great goal.
And for Fulham, it's 4 defeats in a row. And the only saving grace right now is that Forest, West Ham and Wolves have been awful. But I'll say this. Sean Dyche is there at Forest now. And when you're not playing against one of the best teams in the league, such as Bournemouth, Forest probably will start picking up some points here and there. So Fulham, pull your fingers out. You've got to do something. Man United 4, Brighton 2.
Wow.
I mean, I was on the verge of my third correct scoreline at the weekend here. And then Brian Mbuemo just remembered he is actually a class footballer. He had a fantastic game, by the way. And I'll say this. Ruben Amorim, congratulations. You have turned it around. Manchester United were 4th for a pretty moment in the Premier League, which kind of just goes with the flow of the current Premier League conversation of like, what?
Yep.
Like, how are we sat here? Like, week on week, we're sitting here and I'm thinking, surely it's not. And now the whole narrative is span. Ruben Amorim has turned this around. Even Luke Shaw put in a good performance, for goodness sake. Like, Man United were excellent.
They were.
Clinical.
They were for a majority of the game. And then they got comfortable.
Yeah.
And Brighton got themselves back in it and nearly done the business. Because that would have been, I think that would have been a calamity. If United had let go of that lead and it would have finished 3-3.
Yeah.
That would have, I think, because United put in for a big majority of the game a proper clinic, a really good performance, right? Proper consistency throughout the entire game. And when Brighton got themselves back into it, and this is where I messaged him going, listen, you've won this week, mate. He predicted 3-2 for United. I'm like, flipping out. And then Mbuemo at the end. But that's something that is uncharacteristic of Man United right now.
Yes.
It's for them to be under pressure. So, like, they've got something going their way. Then they're starting to, like, let things go. And then they actually claw back and go, no, we've got this. That's the first time this season where I think we've seen that properly.
Yeah.
So United are building up some sort of form. I'm not too sure what this means for United in the long run, though, because everything is happening at 200 miles an hour right now. Everything's flipped just really, really quickly, and United as well. And I know they can get some confidence from this, but is it going to continue? Or are they going to face another dip?
I think
it's hard
yes.
to say.
I think yes. When you look at the goals, the assists in this game, you've got Mbuemo scoring 2, Cunha scoring a goal. He was fantastic, mate. And we said this against Liverpool too. Like he's come back to that Cunha that we knew at Wolves. Seshko as well, right? When you look at those 3 players at the start of the season, on paper, I looked at those 3 players and I'm like, well, if Man United aren't back when they've signed those 3, and that could be the possible attack. And you think of Amorim and you think of those 2 10s inside forwards behind the striker. Like Seshko, still not great, but definitely an improvement on Højlund. That wasn't difficult at the time. And Cunha and Mbuemo are fantastic Premier League level footballers. Surely this has to work. And I'm not surprised that it is now working. And you look at the contributions from both of those players, and then you've got Casemiro. Arguably, it was like the biggest deflection of the weekend, I think. I don't see a bigger deflection than that with a goal. But Casemiro putting in a shift. Bruno looked pretty good as well. Fernandes. Like, everything's just come together. And I think when you've got good players, and they are good players. I look at this team, and Matthias de Ligt is not a bad centre-back. Lenny Yoro is a really great young centre-half. Lamens, the goalkeeper, I think is excellent.
He's been doing well.
Very good signing.
Very.
Got to praise this,
underrated.
to be honest.
Very underrated.
Yeah. And then as a result of that, everyone else around them is stepping up as well. So I thought United were going to win this game. Brighton were poor. And, you know, you've been saying this quite a lot. Brighton, you don't know what you're going to get. It's 6 of one and half a dozen of the other, as they say.
I think it's so easy to read Brighton now, right? At home, you ain't beating them. If this was the reverse, if this was Brighton versus United, Brighton are winning this 4-2. They just are. And then if it's the other way around, no. And I thought maybe because of Man United and the way that they've been, the level that they've shown, I thought they'd be susceptible for Brighton to come and do some damage. Hence why I predicted 2-2. I was like, they could cancel each other out. But
that wouldn't have been a bad prediction either.
No, and United deserve to win. That's what's crazy. United actually put in more than I expected them to put in. And yeah, it's just the story of Brighton's season right now, where at home they look really dangerous and away from home they just can't get it done.
Is Ruben
Except
Amorim
for Danny
back?
Welbeck, by the way. Danny Welbeck scoring because he just does that all the time.
Do you reckon maybe Lamens should have saved that? Because it's a cracking hit, but like it's right next to him.
Yeah.
Like it's like he's not really stretched or moved for it. It's like, oh, that's gone in. Okay.
Yeah, and this is where maybe like it took him by shock. But at the top level, you got to be ready for these sort of things. So yeah, you could argue he should have had a hand to that. But it is a great goal from Welbeck.
Mate, should we move on to the next game? Because
what you were going to say about Amorim?
Question. Is Amorim back, and is this vindicating the decision to hire him? Do you think this is Man United back? Because I say Amorim back because I thought Amorim was a good manager. Comes to Manchester United, questions again. Is it the club? Probably. Are they all back? The players are.
I would say not yet.
Okay.
Not yet.
Fair.
They're on track. They're back on the path. Cool. Now it's about moving.
Yeah, it's like when you're a kid and you're starting to ride a bike with stabilisers. That's easy. As soon as you take them bad boys off, you've got to go 2 weeks without falling to be able to say, I can ride a bike.
That is...
You like that one?
Analogy Benson over here, man.
We're back.
That's phenomenal.
Back in business, mate.
I'm normally the one that brings these lines, man.
I'm waiting for you've got 5 more... No, hang on. How many games have we got? 5 or 6 more games.
Try and find a proverb from somewhere.
I want a Eunice Talks Proverbs back in action, right? We've got another video to film after this, so I'm going to give you an hour and 27 minutes to prop up the leaderboard for us again.
But yeah, I do want to say with United, I think a few more games, and then you can really start talking about them being back. Like I've said, right now, it's the state of the entire league that's just flipping gone crazy, and I think that also makes Man United look even greater right now with these results. Can they keep it up though? That's a whole different ball game. And if they do, then fair play, they are back.
Mate, do you know what? It's so funny to bring this up because the next 4 games, right? I look at this and I'm like, oh, wow. 3 of them are away. Remember, Man United don't have Carabao Cup because of Grimsby. They don't have European football because of Tottenham. So Manchester United have got to go to Sean Dyche's Nottingham Forest next week. Now, if you win that, then we can start having more of a conversation because that is not going to be easy. First home game in the Premier League for Sean Dyche at Forest, that will be. Then they go to Spurs. Then they host Everton. And then they go to Palace.
Tasty.
That is a little run. November is going to be interesting for Manchester United.
That will actually tell us if they're back properly or not.
If they don't lose any of those, I reckon 10 points from that, I'm like, we got a problem.
Yeah.
We've got a real problem.
That will cement whether Ruben Amorim has actually found a way properly for this United team, a blueprint for them to actually work with for the rest of the season.
Absolutely.
Because when it was all going sour and everyone was on Amorim's case, if he's actually found a solution, well, you got to look at Amorim and go, he's actually done it. So these games will define it.
Brentford 3, Liverpool 2. It is serious concern time now for Liverpool, isn't it? 4 Premier League defeats in a row. When was the last time a Premier League champion lost 4 in a row? Surely it's got to be Leicester.
About 1942.
I don't know the truth
here. As far as
here.
I'm concerned, I don't know.
But this is baffling, isn't it? Like, the 5-1 against Frankfurt, I thought, wow, like didn't expect that, but like that's a good, solid win.
Good result.
We're back, don't worry, we're here. But then Brentford, mate, like
It wasn't though.
it definitely wasn't
No.
because Brentford, and I mean, you can have the curse of the commentator, right? But I'm watching this game and I'm listening to the commentator talking about the long throw. From the first long throw that we see from Coyote, who is the Brentford right back, he's taken it over in the left wing position. He's thrown it in. And it's literally like, well, we couldn't have seen that one coming, could we?
What a throw.
It's outrageous. It's so flat, mate. It's like a flatbread. Flatbread and hummus, mate. He's gone, lumped it in the box. One little flick on from, I think it was Ajer, who's the left back.
Yeah.
And then Atara with a great finish, but Kirkish didn't get close.
Have you seen the fan footage of that throw?
No.
There's a video of like a fan with the player right there, and I think they were like chanting his name or something. They had to like, he wasn't going to take the throw up until they finished. So as soon as he done it, he looked and went sweet, and then he just went wallop. And the fan was like, me, like what a throw that is. And then they score, and the crowd goes wild. Unbelievable.
Do you know, this is, I think, currently what's going on in the Premier League is because of like this stylistic shift in the football. And again, I think there's a lot of teams right now that are obviously struggling. Chelsea being one, Liverpool, City obviously potentially being one as well. Yeah. Teams like Brentford, lots changed there. It would have been very easy for that to be like a big catastrophe for them. Thomas Frank was obviously with them when he brought them up. Then he's gone. But like, I think what teams are establishing in the Premier League now is that you have to play to your strengths. 100. We're not seeing this Southampton nonsense of, we're going to keep trying to play out from the back and wait, we're rubbish, so we can't do that. And we're going to get battered every week because we keep trying it. Yeah. Brentford, like, that's how you're going to hurt Liverpool. You're going to play with this, like, long throwing football, and it's going to work. And then the score in the goal, Kevin Schade just before the break, and then obviously, well, it wasn't exactly just before the break, but to go 2-0 up there, and then obviously Liverpool scored a goal, which, by the way, I want to bring this up. How on earth has Simon Hooper forgotten the time? Like, this is, if ever you're talking Liverpool or any of these little ideas you might have in your brain, right? Simon Hooper's genuinely forgotten he hasn't blown his whistle yet, and Kirkish scored the goal. Technically, Brentford should have destroyed Liverpool. I'm saying he genuinely forgot.
It's ridiculous.
Mate, what's going on there?
It's ridiculous. I mean, yeah, that sort of thing. I'm actually like a little bit numb to these sort of things now because it's just so frequent. You just see some real calamities to that level in terms of refereeing and VAR and all of this nonsense. But your point about Brentford and the long throws, game's not gone.
Game's not
gone. It's really happy to say that because it's funny. Look, this is yin and yang.
I think we're on to something.
We're on to something.
We are.
This is yin and yang, right? For every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction.
Chemistry.
Right?
With Eunice.
Balance.
Yeah.
So when everyone is looking to go in this direction of, okay, we have to play really great football, pass it out the back, do all this nonsense, right? Well, not nonsense. I mean, it works for some. But you get the gist. Like, try and make everything look flipping superb. And the build-up has to be a certain way. And then from phase to phase to phase, it's got to be a certain way, which is fine. Don't get me wrong. But you are going to get the equal and opposite reaction of what used to work and teams trying to use that to counter that. So now we're actually turning back to lump it forward, right? Target man, long throw, set pieces, defend really well. We're actually starting to turn back to that as a solution for those teams that are playing in that way. And Brentford, as you said, one of their strengths to be able to do that, it's worked. Arsenal are currently top of the league because of set pieces alone. If you take that away, mate, they would be lower than us.
Yeah. So by definition, the game really hasn't gone.
Game's really not gone, guys.
Yeah.
Game's really not gone. But that is how the world works as well. That is a case of,
full circle.
Full circle.
We spoke about this a little bit on the stream yesterday.
Yeah.
But let's talk about Liverpool a little bit here because
they're a shambles.
They are absolutely. It's genuinely concerning for Liverpool as to how bad this could go because the whole team is off. Wirtz stinker again. Ekitike got the nod over Isak and that's the worst I've seen him play, to be honest. I mean, Isak wasn't even on the bench actually, so Ekitike had to start. But he was poor. Salah was poor. Yes, he scored a goal, but he was poor. Gakpo, that's probably the worst I've seen him play in a Liverpool shirt. Liverpool they need something to happen from somewhere, but I can't help once again but look at this team and see a massive imbalance.
Massive imbalance. And I also want to add to... You made a point about this. How for the Chelsea game, Sunderland are a better team than Ajax.
Yeah.
Right? Well, this goes to show the level of the Prem, right? Because Brentford equally have managed to do something that Frankfurt couldn't do, and Frankfurt were at home.
Yeah.
And they got
Did
battered.
you see that stadium before as well?
Mate.
Bro, full stadium tifo almost. Like,
Yeah.
I was looking at that, Liverpool coming out. This was on when I was having a roast dinner yesterday, you know, and that being sports, they just show highlights for anything.
Yeah.
1963 Conference League final. Didn't exist, but they'll just have random things on the TV here.
Yeah.
Like, that looked like it was going to be horrible for Liverpool. And then set pieces, actually. Funny that, isn't it?
But this is the thing. This is the beautiful thing about the Premier League. Is that you're going to face these sort of teams that you look on paper and think there's no level there, but they are actually bringing a level and they have strengths that maybe these top teams don't actually have. And it's where you find these freak results, and it's almost why the Premier League table is the way that it is right now. With Liverpool, though, this is why when they beat Frankfurt, I wasn't too phased, and I predicted a draw for this game.
You did.
Because I'm not convinced with Liverpool in the Premier League, there's shining problems here that are going to stay. This isn't a case of bad form.
Yeah.
As you've said, there's a complete misbalance here in this Liverpool team. And there's a complete misprofile that's happened. And 500 million, I think, has actually been, you could say, thrown out the window. But this is where I think fans are now going to try and look at the solution, which could be, look, we've bought these players. We need to find a way. Now's the time to look to Arne Slot.
That's why the question has to start being asked about the manager soon, doesn't it?
It has to be because with that sort of team and that sort of money spent, you have to try and make it work. When you're looking at players like Isak and Wirtz and Ekitike and these guys that are meant to be top caliber, right? Not even like, we spend a lot of money, but
these
they're
are
young
£100 million
and
players.
These are, established players.
But also, like, as much as we can say, but they're not performing like that, nobody would have said Isak's not 100 million quid. Wirtz is not 100 million quid. They are 100 million pound players.
Yeah, they made sense. It made sense. And they're not playing that way. And it still feels like Arne Slot is just experimenting just with the misbalance instead of actually correcting it, which, to be fair, in order to correct it, it's like I've said, you would have to, I think, at times even drop these players, which he just cannot do.
Yeah.
So trying to force it in and do it without a way, well, you've chopped your end off.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
No,
and
absolutely
it feels
spot on.
like that's just going to be the story of Liverpool season. I feel like there's so many holes in that Liverpool team now. And I think Liverpool, correctly so, their fans are looking and going, the title race is over. And why? Because you don't win the league after already having, is it 4 losses that they've got, or they've actually lost more?
Well, they've lost 4 in a row.
They've lost 4 in a row.
I think that is the only losses, I think. I believe.
Yeah, they've lost 4.
Yeah.
So they've won 5, lost 4. You don't win the league title, right? After having lost 4 games. And we're only at match day 9.
They've lost
And
nearly
they've lost
half
4.
their matches.
So now they have to go unbeaten for the rest of the season. It's not happening.
No.
It's not happening. So it's not looking good at all.
There's also other reasons why it's not going to happen, and that is taking us into the next game, which is Arsenal 1, Palace 0. We said it on stream. It was not a pretty game of football.
No.
I didn't enjoy watching it, and that's not just because of my blue-tinted Chelsea glasses. It's because it's boring. It wasn't a fun game of football. But this is the stuff that champions are made of.
We say that in a good way.
Yeah, no, I'm not
Yes.
criticising it in terms of like Arsenal are bad.
Yeah.
This is what champions are made of. This is how you grind out results. You play Champions League, you batter Atletico Madrid 4-0. And then come the weekend, you've got a Crystal Palace side who have only lost, 1 in 21 matches? Something daft?
Yeah.
And you beat them 1-0. You don't really give up any real chances. I mean, I'm looking here. David Raya made... How many saves did David Raya make? 1. So it's not like they gave away chances. I was blown away by Arsenal's defensive prowess here.
There we are.
Block after block after block. Raya doesn't need to make a save because Gabriel knows where to slide in.
Yep.
Saliba knows
Saliba
where
as well.
to make a tackle. Timber, excellent. Calafiori, excellent.
Yep.
The whole team. Minus one guy. We'll talk about him in a second. But
Yes. Mate, this game... this game summed up both teams. Exactly where they were. This game and the way that it went down illustrated exactly where both teams are. And in a good way, right? But if we're talking about Arsenal, right? It was a boring game for the neutral and to the eye. And I've got nothing against that because I remember when Chelsea used to be called boring and we loved it.
Yeah.
We loved it. And Arsenal, I guess, welcome to the table because you're not really used to that sort of vibe. Yeah, normally you're the guys that play the champagne football and sexy football, and we're going to do this a certain elegant way. And now you're starting to figure out. And in order to win a title, sometimes you can do it this way and you can enjoy it. And it does feel good. So, Arsenal fans, enjoy it while it lasts. I mean, we're still not sure where this season's going. So, calm down.
I am.
But right now, right now, you're killing it. So, Arsenal playing in a boring way of football, but they're efficient enough to use the strengths that they have in their team. And it's funny, I saw something yesterday and it summed Arsenal up. Do you know where Arsenal are in terms of goals from open play this season?
Tell me.
17th.
17th. Wow.
And they're top of the league.
That goes a long way.
17th from goals in open play.
Yeah, mad.
That's ridiculous. But why? Because all their goals are set pieces.
Yeah.
They're just all set pieces. And every time, it's funny. We called it on the watch long. We were watching.
Yeah, we knew it was coming.
They're going to score. Boom. Oh, Eze scores. It's it.
Yeah. Great finish, by the way.
Great finish.
Really good finish.
And that is the story of Arsenal season. But they have found a way, and they found a direction that is their strength, and they've absolutely bossed, and they've gone all in. We said this on the watch long. They've identified a niche, and they've gone all in on that niche.
Yeah.
And it's paying off.
They could start selling courses with this, mate.
They can.
I'm surprised they're not in Dubai setting up companies and golden visas tax free. God.
I mean, they got Emirates on there. They're halfway there.
They are halfway there.
So, but not to say that Palace played badly. Palace didn't play badly.
No.
Palace defended really well the entire game. Palace played to their strengths as well and done really, really well. But they couldn't get into Arsenal's box either. So when Palace were moving forward, Arsenal were just, you ain't getting through. And Arsenal, on the contrary, whenever they moved forward, they didn't create tons of chances. Palace were actually a decent wall protecting their goal and their goalkeeper.
That's what they do, isn't it?
That's what they do. And physically, it was quite a game. But Arsenal found a way that they've been finding this entire season so far, and Palace didn't have an answer for it.
No. Well, with Palace, I feel like there were multiple times in that first half where I even called it on the stream. The final ball was there. Like, Mateta would be in a great space, and then it would be like the wrong pass would be attempted, or it would be too late. And that's where Arsenal are doing so well, and they deserve praise, because those little moments, right, you can kind of, with your awareness as a defender of being in the right place at the right time, you can create those situations for yourself. You can force the early ball to be played, which is the wrong pass. Or, if Gabriel's going to slide in and Munoz just holds it for a second and then he can just slide it back. Like, Arsenal don't mess these chances up.
No.
Which is completely on the contrary to the flip side of what Chelsea do, because we do the complete opposite of defend well, don't we? Yeah. But this is 4 points clear now at the top of the Premier League table. The only team that really look remotely consistent that you would say, I mean, maybe, I won't say you would say, I would say, are a title-winning side. Like, I don't think Bournemouth can sustain this. I don't believe Sunderland can sustain this. Man City, we'll talk about them in a moment, but even they lost. So Arsenal just seem to be the only team that have title credentials.
Big time.
That can keep winning.
They are going down the route, the classic old adage of score goals as much as we can, but concede as less as we can, and just try and largen that gap as much as possible. And it works, because right now for goals scored, they're not top.
No.
In fact, I think that they're technically like joint second, but out of all the teams involved in this conversation, they're like fourth or fifth. Right?
Chelsea have scored more goals than Arsenal this season.
But how many have Arsenal conceded?
3, which is 8 less than we have.
There we are. And that is what has kept them top of the table.
I have to ask
when you don't concede, you don't lose games. It's as simple as that.
After watching that yesterday, do you believe they're any closer to potentially, that little record that we don't like to talk about, but we have to?
Don't get me wrong. I think they might give it a good run for their money, but they won't do it.
Good answer, Eunice.
They won't do it, man. I am convinced. Look, 15 goals conceded in a season will never get touched again.
I hope so. I really hope he's right.
You have to go back to that time to do it. Like, if you had said Alex Ferguson's United might have had a chance, I'd be like, yeah, perhaps. But in today's era, you can't do it.
All records are there to be broken. Rules are as well, by the way.
Yeah.
Just saying. Aston Villa 1, Man City 0. What a great result. And what a great goal from Matty Cash, by the way. Right back, cuts it in and then pings it bottom corner with his left foot from outside the box. It's a truly remarkable goal, to be quite fair. And the one thing I will say about this is the second half was all Manchester City. They were peppering the Aston Villa defence. But that Villa defence yesterday, that was amazing. And I think when we're talking about Arsenal right now and how they've kind of found this like defensive solidity, stability at the back, and that's really working for them, they're getting wins. Aston Villa right now, they're still not scoring tons of goals, but they've managed to find some resoluteness, some resilience, we could say, as we always do on Shootout, at the back.
Yes.
And as a result of that, right, Aston Villa, I'm looking at them and I'm thinking 4 wins in a row. In a league where it's currently up and down, win, draw, loss, like people are doing a bit of everything, really. It's like Strictly Come Dancing. You don't know what you're going to get.
And look at the start to the season they had. It was shocking.
But they've now found it, and they've found a rhythm quickly.
They've gone back to time.
Early.
Yes. They've found their rhythm that they had last season, and now they've got themselves back in gear.
Oh, yeah.
By the way, really quickly, we didn't mention this. The Bournemouth corner.
Oh, that's the next game.
Oh, have you... Okay, fair.
Yeah. Don't worry. We're coming to that.
I've got the lineup of games. I'm like, have we gone past Bournemouth? Okay, no, fair. With Aston Villa, they've got their mojo back. The same mojo that they had last season. In terms of when you go to Villa Park, they are going to suffocate you. They are, weirdly enough, actually going to dominate, even against the bigger teams, and they're going to get a result. Now, away from home, we still don't know what Villa are going to do. Much like last season, it was a little bit hit and miss away from home. But at Villa Park, they are a threat, and they've got themselves that solidity back. Man City will find it pretty difficult to even create chances. This is the thing. Like, normally what tends to happen with a team like City is, they can maybe go hot and cold based on just not putting their chances to bed. They didn't create much.
No.
Like, Villa just didn't allow them to even move forward.
There was no space. Like, Onana was amazing in the midfield yesterday.
Man of the match.
Yeah. Huge performance.
Yep.
I think Matty Cash got... Did Onana get man of the match?
Oh, no, I got it.
I thought he was the best player that I could see out there, to be fair.
Yeah.
But all in all, like, Aston Villa was just a wall. Like, every single time Man City got forward, Villa were just there, swarming in numbers.
Yep.
And this is a huge win for them. And for City, they're kind of at the moment just like, it's up to somebody to take the challenge here to Arsenal. And I mean, like, are we really going to rely on Bournemouth or Tottenham to do this? Or Sunderland, for that matter? No disrespect, but like, you know what I mean? Like, at the minute, like, this gap that Arsenal have built, 4 points from 9 games, is pretty big.
It is.
For this stage of the season, like, that is lovely if you're an Arsenal fan, player, manager, anyone.
It's the first time they've got a cushion.
Yeah.
So even if they were to lose, they're still top regardless.
We'll call it a pillow for now.
We'll call
like
it
a tiny little aeroplane pillow, right? An Emirates aeroplane pillow. You can have that much. Little bit of luxury. But
they might upgrade to a blanket next.
we don't want to give them that. We want to keep them nice and cold. We want to open the door of the plane. No, actually, no, that's a bit violent. We won't talk about that. That's horrible. I don't take it back, but I do take it back. Do you know what I mean?
But yeah, City, I don't know what to make of them because, again, they've looked... They didn't have a great start. No? And then Haaland just like, hang on, just...
Take my coffee, mate.
Hold my drink, right? And it's just banging in goals.
Yeah.
And when he doesn't, it's like City stop.
Yeah.
So it's hard to determine where are Man City going to go because stylistically, you can see what they're doing. Yeah. There's nothing new here. And they are a strong team. They just can't convert unless it's going through Haaland.
Do you know what the difficult thing is for Man City, though? Like, I look at their bench, right? And, like, Cherki came on with 25 minutes to go. Marmoush came on with 6 minutes to go. I look at those two players and I'm like, if you want to win games of football, you've got to have match winners out there on the pitch. Yep. Both of those are match winners. If Haaland can't put it in the back of the net, it can't just be, well, if Haaland doesn't score, we don't score. That's not going to win you the Premier League.
And that's not where Man City should be. Overall.
No.
It just shouldn't.
There needs to be other people that can step up on the pitch. And I'm looking at the injuries. Only Kusanov and Rodri are out, which in terms of like squad numbers, that's 2 players that are currently out injured. So it's not like Pep can say, oh, we've been decimated. That fly decided he wanted to come and have a little nibble.
This fly lives in this room.
He lives in this room.
He lives here.
How many videos has he appeared in?
Are you paying rent, mate? Actually, he's on my mic. Are you paying rent?
He's not going to answer you as a fly. You never know. Yeah. Maybe.
Honestly.
Crazy things have happened on camera before.
But no, what I will say about City, and I bring it back to this because I actually believe this. I think teams and managers have figured out how Manchester City play their football as a whole. You know, I don't want to go down just the cliche thing of, oh no, Pep's just been figured out, that's it. Like, but I think there is a big element of that. Mm-hmm. You know, and Pep isn't bringing anything new. He done it once against Arsenal, which was impressive, going just completely defensive and going full on Jose. I'm like, hang on, this isn't Pep. What's going on? And that was refreshing to see from Pep, because it's normally his style and his way, which has worked for so long, and it's really hard to get past. But now I think we've hit a point, because it's been so long, that now teams have found ways to get through, and Pep doesn't look like he has an answer in order to adapt this method to get his team another advantage. It seems like now he's run out of resource in terms of the way that he plays his football. And teams are finding it easier to play against Manchester City as a whole. And everything goes down Erling Haaland to give you that individual quality. When that's not happening, there's nothing else.
Seemingly not. Like, it was just poor performances all around, really. I'm looking at the numbers here. Like, Man City didn't really create much at all. But I think that's as much credit to Villa's defence as anything else.
100%.
Should we move on to Bournemouth then?
Go on.
Bournemouth 2, Nottingham Forest 0.
Mate.
Sean Dyche, another perfect Benson prediction. But
how do you beat Porto 2-0?
Premier League quality. That's what it is.
See what I mean? The Prem is different.
The Prem is different.
Prem is different.
That's why we've got to be worried about who's going to win the Champions League this year, because like there's just so many good teams in this league. There really is. Bournemouth though, like if we're going to praise Sunderland, Bournemouth I actually look at and I'm like, you are a serious football team. And I know we say this every week, but they lost an entire back line almost in the summer. Mental. Like, we watched Dean Howson play for Real Madrid yesterday and put in an absolute shift against Barcelona. Like, to lose those kind of players, like Zabani's gone to PSG, Kirkesh has gone to the Champions, and looks like just a really poor footballer. Bournemouth, again, just 2-0, comfortable, easy. Tavernier. What do you make of that goal? Because, like, when that goes in like that, it's either unreal, or it's like, what is Sells doing? Bro, he's Flappy Bird merchant, bro.
It's a blip. Flappy Bird. Flipping hell. I ain't heard that one in a while. I think it's a bit of both.
Yeah.
Like, that corner was outstanding.
And he made it himself with a shot that was a great save.
Yeah.
So, well done, Tavernier.
No, he smashed it, right? And we when we saw it, we was like, hang on, has the wind helped him here or something? And apparently not. Apparently, like, it's just a really, really good attempt at goal. Did he mean it? You can't really say you meant that. Maybe he did.
Maybe he did.
Maybe he did, but he'll be the only one to know that. But it's a great goal, but I will question Sells. Because Sells is literally in the middle of his goal. And as the corner's taken, he moves to his front post, or just near to his front post, has left everything. I'm like, why? And the ball comes over him and he can't reach it, even though it looks like he's made what looks like an attempt at a jump. Barely gets off the ground.
He's got lead in his boots, mate. He's ordered some of Lukaku's cement to stick in the bottom of his shoes. Don't go ordering that.
I'm like, what are you doing? Like, Sells has a part to blame here, without question. You shouldn't be allowing that to happen. But it's a great corner. And
also, the second goal, Krupi's just come out of nowhere. I looked at that, I was like, that's a good signing. And in the last couple of weeks, this kid is looking like the real deal. It's a stunning goal.
Semenyo's apprentice.
Mate, honestly, but this is the thing, right? But this is, again, you can even compare this to City. If Haaland ain't scoring, City ain't winning.
Yeah.
But for Bournemouth, Semenyo don't have to score and assist every game because they've got loads of players now that can deliver. And like, I'm looking at their home form. Played 5, won 4, draw 1, lost none, scored 8, and only conceded 2 in 5. So if we're praising how good they are going forward, and we're looking at a decimated defence in the summer, how much credit does Iraola deserve for just being able to just like, yeah, okay, we've lost all of this, but like, no, this is how we play and this is what we do. And Bournemouth have now been a consistent Premier League team for a while. And I mean, if you take the manager out of the equation, who knows what would happen? But that's not happening right now. So, wow, well done.
He is a prime example of where modern football is going. And it's about the system. It's not about the individual anymore to an extent. It can be, like we're talking about City and Erling Haaland. That's not sustainable for year in, year out. It's just not. Whereas Areola, and as you said, the disadvantages that Bournemouth have had with the players that they've let go, when they identify a system, Klopp was good for this to Liverpool.
Yeah.
But there's a machine, and now it's about certain right players that are going to operate that machine. And even if it means one player has to be taken out, don't worry, we got another man that can fill in this role. It's fine. The system keeps going.
Yeah.
Areola has managed to put that into this Bournemouth team, and they just look so efficient with players that you just wouldn't look at and go, oh, wow, what a baller. You just wouldn't look at that. But he's got this team as a whole, as a collective, clicking. And I feel like many, many teams now in the modern era are trying to go in that direction of being able to have a manager that is going to create a way that suits the entire squad that he has at his disposal to try and create something rather than just go into the market and get that guy. Areola has been a shining example this season of someone that has done that to a T.
Yeah.
And Bournemouth right now, where they are in the Premier League table, is outstanding.
Yeah, mad.
With this team,
One
these
defeat.
players, and that manager, and they're accomplishing this. And yes, it's early, but what they've done so far has been flawless. Credit to all of them, and credit to Areola.
Big time. Bournemouth just keep going, they keep moving, and I think they're one of those teams now where, again, there's quite a few teams in the Premier League I look at now when it comes to the predictions, which will be obviously uploaded on Friday. There's a lot of teams I can't back to lose. Mm-hmm. Do you know what I mean? Like, even if Bournemouth come up against like one of the big teams now, I think they're getting a result.
Take them seriously.
I really do take them seriously, and I think they will keep doing well. And I wouldn't be surprised if we see them in a European spot come the end of the season.
That should be their aim.
They've got to try for that now. And like
in the same way Forest tried last season.
Exactly.
Bournemouth should be trying that this season.
Was exactly the rotation of that game. But the final match of the weekend, if you've made it this far in the video, we love you. You are part of the Shootout Massive, the Mandem, whatever you want to be known as. Membership coming soon, by the way. Eunice doing gang signs over there. But Wolves 2, Burnley 3 was actually a cracker of a game of football. It was one I had to enlighten myself on the eventualities. I had to look at the goals. I had to look at everything. And Wolves are down, mate. I'm going to say it now. Wolves are abysmal.
Mate, they're in the mud.
They are seriously in the mud. And don't worry, Chelsea coming to town on Wednesday, so you might be able to, resurrect your season there. We won't talk about that for now, though. But watch the Shootout, watch along. Burnley left it late, and I think if you're Wolves right now, like I would have loved. Actually, no, I don't know if I would have loved being a fly on the wall in the dressing room because
no, it was kicking off.
I was already sad on Saturday afternoon after my team, so I don't know if I'd have wanted to witness the sadness when you say it kicked off.
No, so yeah, at full time, obviously, like the manager, players went over to the fans and whatnot to the clap and all of that, but the manager started giving it large to I don't know which fan or which fans, like telling him to like he was like giving a sort of I don't know what that meant. That meant you should give us more. You should be supporting more.
This is
it
a
seemed
good
like
debate,
that,
isn't
and
it?
then the fans were like, just effing and blinded at him. And then after like out the ground, I forgot who it was. There was a Wolves player that not confronted but was talking to some fans, and he was really having a go at them. It's just this has just gone so left. This has gone so left. The mood of that football club as a whole, you can just tell they're going down.
Like 2 points, they are 6 adrift of Fulham already, and I'm just comparing Fulham to Wolves. Like Fulham are in a bad run; they've lost 4 in a row, but they're so much better than Wolves are. Like Fulham lost to Newcastle in the last minute of the game, and Newcastle are a Champions League club. Like Wolves were 2-0 down here. They managed to pull it back to 2-2. Credit to Burnley because, again, like they're in this conversation now where one more win and they could be mid-table.
Yep.
And then you're starting to think, like, okay, well, what do you do with your season from here? Like, obviously, I think for Burnley, it'll be about staying up. That will be the goal. That will be the mission. If they do that, well done.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of teams now, and I'm looking at the Premier League and I'm thinking, there's so much up for grabs here. It's so close. From I'm literally going to include Bournemouth in this. Like there's 8 points separating 2nd and 16th. That's not a lot. That's not even a full month's worth of matches that can be played before something can change.
Exactly. What I feel like is unacceptable in terms of Wolves and the way that they're looking at it, and why I think it kicked off yesterday is because they lost at home to Burnley.
Yeah.
And in the last moments of the game as well to concede in that way. When you're looking at the promoted teams, Burnley are out of the 3 the least performing team, right? They're the
wouldn't
ones that are
expect too many
struggling the
away
most.
wins for them.
You shouldn't. Wolves are probably looking and going, look, we're in a situation where everyone really has to start giving everything because we got to get out of this rut. We can't lose at home to Burnley, and then they did.
Yeah, that's
And
Burnley's
that's
first point to the season away.
Exactly. That's the lowest of the low that you can have in this league at this present time.
Yeah.
You could argue maybe West Ham or a team like that are really struggling could be the same sort of breath, but they are technically a bigger club than you'd expect Burnley, who've been promoted, who haven't been playing brilliantly. Wolves are looking and going, we should get a result here. And they just folded.
Yeah.
And it sums up Wolves as a whole right now, where they are and where their headspace is and the way that they're playing. They're not playing well. There's no one really stepping up. Pereira looks like he's not got any answers. He's kicking off with fans. We've got things kicking off outside. They're bottom of the league.
It's
they
a
can't
mess.
get point. It's just an absolute mess. There's nothing that I expect from Wolves at all this season.
I'm looking at the table, and Wolves and West Ham, I genuinely think are down. Like, I think Nuno maybe could pull it back for West Ham, but I actually don't think so. And then you've got Forest. Like, I think those two, the W's, as we started this video by saying it, the W's could actually be taking the biggest L's of the season and going down. As for the top, well, Arsenal are top of the Premier League. They do look levels above everybody right now. And there's one last game to go through. I forgot, actually. Tottenham Hotspur. I
You actually
genuinely
forgot.
didn't.
I was thinking, are you going to end it? Because there's one more.
I genuinely did forget. And it wasn't just me trying to be all funny and, I don't like Spurs. No. Well played, Spurs. Again, credit where credit is due. Everton had a lot of chances in this game, but Tottenham have gone away from home at the new Everton Stadium and battered them 3-0. Van de Ven scoring 2. Defending resolutely. Vicario remembered he's a top keeper again. And I literally said last week, didn't I? I was like, what's happened to this bloke? But he was good.
Yep.
Tottenham very good. Well done.
Yeah, Everton, not much of an answer.
Nah.
Like, even moving forward, they just couldn't really do much. Tottenham were very disciplined on the day, to be fair.
Yeah.
And very efficient. Van de Ven getting 2 goals, by the way. I mean, fair play, Van de Ven.
2 headers.
That's
inside the 6-yard box too. Get the ball in front of the goal and get your big boys in there. That's a good tactic, clearly.
But you don't expect Everton, of all teams, to sort of concede those sort of goals. Do you know what I mean? Everton should be that team where there's big, presences in the box, especially in the air. Everton, you'd expect to be somewhat decent in that regard. Van de Ven, fair play, took advantage. And this win for Tottenham has actually come at a perfect time. They needed this. When you look at their running now. So, they've got Newcastle next away at St. James's. Then they've got Chelsea.
So Newcastle in the cup.
Yeah.
Okay.
So they've got Newcastle in the cup at St. James's. Then they got us at home.
Yeah.
Then they got Copenhagen in the Champions League
Away.
at home.
Oh.
But then they got Man United. And then they've got Arsenal. And then they've got PSG. Mate, they needed this win.
They did.
They needed this win. And they got it in fair play, because Tottenham are normally the sort of team we look at and go, yeah, you're going to throw this away. Like I said, they needed this. They got it at the right time. Fair play, Tottenham. They bossed it against Everton.
3rd in the Premier League as well. 1 point behind Bournemouth. 5 behind their fiercest rivals. But don't worry. The ones that you don't think are as big rivals as you, but we are, because we're the biggest club in London. Chelsea at the weekend. Spurs, we're coming for you. All right? I'm confident about it. Very confident about it.
Kind of.
I'm not
He's kind
at
of,
all.
kind of.
Not in the slightest. But that is your Premier League game week. Anything to add, Eunice?
Well, just the Premier League table as a whole right now, just to sum it up, from 2nd to 13th is a 6-point gap.
Yeah. Mental. Absolutely
Arsenal to
bonkers.
Bournemouth is 4, and then 2nd to 13th is, well done. He didn't like that. And funnily enough, 2nd all the way to 15th is 7 points.
Yeah. There's nothing in it, really.
There's all of this can flip real quick, just like it has in the last week or so. So we're just going to have to strap in our seatbelts and just enjoy the ride here, because this is going to be chaos. I predict until Christmas. So
I predict a riot.
I predict
Leeds United style, mate.
let the riots begin.
Anyway, we'll see you tomorrow where we're going to talk about Chelsea. And then, of course, on Wednesday, we'll also have a Chelsea watch along. Stay tuned. Subscribe to ShootOut if you're new. We'll see you all there.